Hey there and welcome back to MurderTube, where today we're going to get into part 2 of the Zodiac Killer. If you've not seen part 1 already, be sure to check that out first, and I'm going to leave it below in the description so that you can easily find it. So when we finished off part 1, the Zodiac Killer had recently sent a letter to the lawyer Melvin Bailey, and this letter was a lot different to the previous letters he had sent so far, as this letter was kinda like a cry for help. But nothing would really happen for about another 4 months. That is until the night of March 22nd, 1970. A pregnant 22-year-old by the name of Kathleen Johns and her infant daughter would be traveling along Highway 132. At around 11 p.m., the vehicle behind Kathleen was flashing its lights and honking its horn. Eventually Kathleen would pull over, and the man in the other vehicle told her that he had observed her right wheel kind of wobbling, and he offered to tighten the lug nuts up for her. After he had done this, the guy returned to his vehicle and drove away. However, when Kathleen attempted to pull back onto the highway, the wheel actually fell off. So this man returned and offered to give Kathleen and her daughter a ride to the nearest gas station where she could call for help. Kathleen had said that this man didn't really seem off in any way, that he kind of seemed nice enough, there was nothing about him that kind of gave her a bad feeling, so she did accept this ride. However, when they were driving, the man would pass numerous gas stations without stopping. When Kathleen would ask why he didn't stop, the man would just change the subject. This ride would last for 1.5 hours up and down the back roads. When the vehicle stopped at one of the intersections, Kathleen quickly jumped out of the vehicle with her daughter and hid in one of the nearby fields. The man did try to attempt to locate them using a flashlight, but an approaching semi scared him away. Shortly afterwards, Kathleen hitched a ride to a nearby police station from someone from Missouri. When Kathleen was talking to the police officers at the station, she noticed a wanted poster for the Zodiac, and she immediately recognized him as her abductor. Kathleen and her infant daughter were almost the next victims of the Zodiac Killer. Or was she? See, this abduction was never confirmed as a Zodiac incident, and its credibility is still argued to this day. Some people say it was, and some people say it wasn't. Some of the main issues with Kathleen's incident is that her police statement said the initial interaction and abduction happened at around 11:15 p.m. Then they drove for about 1.5 hours before she escaped. It was then a 20-minute drive to the police station. So if we add in an extra 20 minutes for any approximations and time hiding, this would put her at the police station at around 1:25 a.m. The police statement places Kathleen at the station at 2:30 a.m. This would give us about an hour that's not accounted for. If he was planning on taking her to another location to kill or to keep her hostage, why would he drive up and down aimlessly? He didn't drive just one direction, he was driving back and forth. The location where Kathleen escaped from him was a very close proximity to where her car was. Police reports state that Kathleen was screaming and hysterical when she entered the station, which I think anyone would be if they just went through what she did. But why did no one bring her into the station? If someone had seen her on the side of the road and was nice enough to give her a ride to the police station, and she's screaming and hysterical, why would they just drop her off out front and then drive away? And finally, when Kathleen's vehicle was found, it had been burned. But the Zodiac Killer had never done this with any of the other vehicles. The Zodiac Killer himself has even said that he uses model glue on his fingertips to ensure that he doesn't leave any fingerprints. So he would have no reason to burn Kathleen's vehicle, as he doesn't really leave fingerprints behind. The following month, on April 20th, 1970, another letter was received. This letter contained the sentence, "My name is," and then had a 13-symbol cryptogram. This cryptogram has still never been solved to this day. Additionally, in this letter, the Zodiac claimed to have killed 10 people now, and that his bomb had turned out to be a dud. Just a few days later, an additional letter was received, along with a new threat. The Zodiac demanded that all of the details of his school bus bomb plan be released, as well as people wear Zodiac sign buttons. And if this didn't happen, the Zodiac claimed he would have his blast. This letter would be followed up with on June 26, where Zodiac would express his upset that people did not wear any Zodiac buttons. But he claimed that he can't blow up a school bus right now due to the summer break, so instead he shot a man sat in his parked car. He claimed Zodiac 12, Police 0. There was a map and a 32-symbol cryptogram included with this letter. The Zodiac claimed that these revealed the location of a bomb, and that they had until next fall to dig it up. No bomb was ever discovered or detonated. Also, the Zodiac's claim of shooting a man sat in his parked car is still debated as well. Not long before this letter had been received, there was an incident where a police officer was shot in his parked vehicle. But this incident had already been reported in the newspaper before Zodiac claimed responsibility of it. In late July, 2 more letters would be received. The July 24th letter would again display his unhappiness with people not wearing Zodiac buttons. It was also at this point that Zodiac claimed responsibility for the failed Kathleen Johns abduction. However, this was 4 months after the abduction had happened, and this incident had already been reported in the papers by then, and the Zodiac didn't include any details that wasn't already publicly known. The Zodiac's desperate need for attention becomes even more apparent in his July 26 letter. He would ask people to wear any kind of Zodiac button, even nasty Zodiac buttons. He threatens that if people do not wear any kind of Zodiac button, he will torture the 13 slaves that he has waiting for him in his paradise. His torture plans included things such as splinters under the nails, being burned alive, being skinned alive, being tied up over anthills. The letter ended with Zodiac claiming 13, police 0. It would be a few months before another letter would be received. This time it was a postcard, just claiming 14 kills, and suggesting that his kills had been by fire, gun, knife, and rope. And then again, things would get quiet for a little while, until March 13th of the following year. This time, the Zodiac would claim 17 kills, and he would claim that the police only found his easy one in Riverside. The Riverside activity Zodiac was referencing was due to a newspaper article linking similarities between Zodiac kills and the murder of 18-year-old Cherry Jo Bates in 1966. This murder happened 2 years before the Zodiac's first confirmed murder, and until now, he had never included this into his tally. Even when he had marked the dates of his kills onto the car door, he never put this date as one of his kills. People believed this was a Zodiac kill because of the way that she died, but also because there were letters sent to the police, the newspaper, and the victim's dad. However, it was later discovered that the letters that were sent were by someone that had no involvement in the actual murders. But people are still not sure at this point whether Cherry was a Zodiac victim or not. A week later, a postcard would be received, and this appeared to claim responsibility for the disappearance of Donna Lass. Donna Lass was a nurse that was working until 2 a.m. on September 6, 1970. Later that same day, Donna's landlord and employer received phone calls from an unknown male claiming Donna had to leave town due to a family emergency. Donna was never found again. Again, it was unsure whether the Zodiac was responsible for this murder or not. However, why would he go to lengths of contacting the employer and the landlord to say that she had gone out of town for a family emergency in an attempt to cover up her disappearance, if he would just later take responsibility of it anyway? And then things would get really quiet for a couple of years. It wasn't until January 29th of 1974 when another letter would be received from the Zodiac. This was the last letter that he's ever sent. The Zodiac would claim that the movie The Exorcist was the best satirical comedy that he has ever seen. He would also have a new tally: Zodiac 37, Police 0. And then we would never hear from the Zodiac ever again. It was 51 years later that the 340 symbol cryptogram would finally be cracked. The message says, "I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. Because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise, so they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise death." The two shorter cryptograms have never been confirmed to have been solved, and it is believed that the cryptogram that Zodiac claims includes his name may never be solved because it's just way too short. The police and the FBI have spent decades investigating the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer has been profiled as narcissistic, a loner, and a paranoid social misfit. He would be driven by a need of power, attention, and credibility. He has an urge to prove his intellectual superiority, likely in order to compensate for his own feelings of inferiority and inadequacy. He likely had a bad relationship with his mother, and would likely be unsuccessful with women. It's possible that he was in the military, which would explain his knowledge and fascination with coded messages. However, it's possible that he was discharged, as he would not have been able to handle such a structured and disciplined environment. Although his letters showed some signs of education and intelligence, they also showed signs of illiteracy. And an interesting point about the Zodiac's confirmed kills is out of his 7 victims, 4 of them were males and only 3 of them were females. However, the attacks on the females seem to be a lot more targeted and violent than the attacks on the males did. When you look at the 2 situations where the females were shot, both females were shot more times than the males were shot in those situations. And then when you look at his 3rd confirmed incident, where he used a knife, the male was stabbed 6 times, where the female was stabbed 10 times. Additionally, the female was stabbed on the back and the front, where the male was only stabbed on the back. It kinda suggests that the Zodiac wanted to ensure that she died. The FBI, working from their profile, would start with over 1,000 men as suspects, and they would eventually narrow it down to just several. There is circumstantial evidence for and against all of these suspects, and even today, people still argue about who the Zodiac Killer is. So what are your thoughts on the Zodiac Killer? Was he a genius killer? Did he kill over 30 people? Was he a sloppy opportunist killer that got scared the night the 2 police officers spoke to him? From that point, did he just claim kills that were not his in an attempt to stay infamous? Does the unsolved 13 symbol cryptogram actually have a name? Or maybe his cryptograms are just the rambled words of a mad mind? Also, what about Kathleen Johns? Was she actually abducted by the Zodiac Killer? Maybe she was abducted by someone else. Or maybe she just made the entire story up. If you would like more information on any of these cases, please let me know in the comments below. In the near future, I'll do a video discussing the main Zodiac suspects, and we'll go through the evidence suggesting that they are the killer, as well as the evidence suggesting that they're maybe not the killer, and we'll see if we can narrow down who we think actually would be the Zodiac Killer, and whether that person would still be alive today, or whether they've already died. And as always guys, like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, let us know why in the comments below. We're always open to constructive criticism, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. It's a crazy world out there, so stay safe.